Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. So today we got a pretty interesting show, and first of all, before we get into it, we want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. But let's just get into the show, and make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. As you know, yesterday was a pretty big day for the Dallas Mavericks. They had a very good win against the Los Angeles Lakers, but the biggest story, in my personal opinion, was the fact that yesterday, I believe, was the day that they unveiled the new Dirk Nowitzki statue outside the arena. It's a very nice one, and I think it captures the perfect shot of Dirk Nowitzki, which is that one-legged fadeaway with the high arcing release point, which is classic Dirk Nowitzki, right? That one leg, if he's the one that really basically created that shot that you see guys like Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, and others try to, Carmelo Anthony at times, copy that. Maybe even Luka Doncic at times copy that particular shot. So that's Dirk, right? That's Dirk right there. Obviously, one of the greatest players of all time, top 75 player. This is no question about it. And arguably had one of the most impressive NBA Finals runs in the history of the sport. In the history of the sport. It's right up there with LeBron, 2016. Right up there with Kawhi, 2019. Right up there, with whoever else you can think of. That 2011 run against the Miami Heat when they were down and came back and won that series. It was incredible. Going up against 3 Hall of Famers, 2 top 75 players, a very old Jason Kidd at the time. That was extremely, extremely impressive. And I think a lot of people remember Dirk Nowitzki for that. And obviously the greatest Dallas Maverick of all time. I think most would agree with that. Now, as y'all know, Dirk and LeBron have been competitors, bitter competitors in the finals. But now both of these guys have a very high level of respect. Now, here's something interesting. LeBron was speaking Dirk was speaking very highly of LeBron, saying that if he catches Kareem, or when he eclipses Kareem's scoring record, he's going to be the greatest player of all time. Now, I don't know if LeBron heard that before he made these particular comments that we want to play for you guys, but basically, when LeBron was talking about Dirk's new statue and all of this, he said something that really astonished me. I couldn't believe what he said. So what we want to do is we want to play exactly what LeBron had to say in terms of where he think Dirk Nowitzki ranks in terms of the best international players to ever play the sport. And then we're going to come back and unpack this thing. So take a listen quickly to what LeBron James had to say here, and then we'll come back and react to it. Take a listen to that.
Before the unveilment of what the statue would look like, I already knew what the statue was going to look like. It had to be a fadeaway one leg. It had to be. No question about it. Dirk is he's a legend. He's an icon. I think he's the greatest international player ever. Put him right there with Manu. But what he brought here, what he brought to the city, that boy was cold, man. Dirk was cold. He revolutionized what like a stretch 4 big could look like. Put the ball on the ground, finish above the rim in his earlier years. And then just mastering that in-between game as his game got, a couple years down the line. And then he started taking it out to the three-point line. You couldn't put a small on him because he was too big. You really couldn't put a slow big on him because he was too quick with his first step early on. And you could never block his shot because it was just, he shot it behind his head, kind of like Larry Bird-esque. So Dirk, when you talk about like top power forwards, top players of all time at that position, he's right up there with like Barkley and Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett, Kevin McHale, those guys. They tough. Dirk's tough.
So you heard what LeBron had to say. First of all, there's no question that Dirk is one of the greatest international players of all time. But I want to believe that LeBron forgot a lot of the other players. I want to believe that he forgot them. I don't want to believe that LeBron willingly left out a lot of the other guys just to say Dirk. And he also mentioned Manu Ginobili, who's a hell of a basketball. But y'all know, you guys know him, right? He was a hell of a basketball player. But when he said that, I was like, what is LeBron James talking about right now? I couldn't believe he said that. So I had to quickly do some quick research, and I just got some. So I put up a poll. We put up a poll on the channel. And basically, this poll, we got the best international players that have won championships as the man, or or at least won a championship and played a pivotal role. Here are the 4 players we put up on this list. The question on the poll was, who's the best international player of all time? We put Dirk Nowitzki. We put Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol won 2 championships with the Lakers. He's a hell of a player. We put Hakeem Olajuwon. And we put Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I was reading some of the comments. Some people said, why Nikola Jokic should be up there? Luka. Yeah, they should be up there, but these guys never won championships, so I'm not going to do that. Right? We're not going to dilute the list all the way down to that. But I believe the most shocking admission is Hakeem Olajuwon. And as a matter of fact, after only 51 minutes of this poll, people voting, you guys can definitely vote when you see the show. We have about 2,100 votes. 16% of those votes have gone for Dirk. 1% of those votes have gone for, Pau Gasol. 63% of the voters said Hakeem Olajuwon, and 20% of the voters said Giannis Antetokounmpo. Some people even said the guy who won back-to-back finals MVPs and defensive players of the year. The guy who won titles while Jordan was dealing with retirement and blackjack. So people had different things, but the majority of these people, another person said this is a no-brainer. The Dream is hands down the best and a top 3 center of all time. And that's where I was surprised. I was surprised that LeBron didn't mention Hakeem Olajuwon. And what's even more surprising is LeBron actually did some work with Hakeem to work on his post moves. There are videos of this out there. So for him to call Dirk the greatest of all time, I don't want to believe that LeBron is doing that to make it seem like, okay, I lost to one of the greatest. No, I don't want to believe that. I just want to believe that he forgot Hakeem, because I don't believe there's in any universe that you can say that Hakeem is not better than Dirk, or Dirk is better than Hakeem. You can just look at their resumes. Obviously, Dirk is a Finals MVP, NBA champion, regular season MVP, 14-time All-Star, 4 All-First NBA teams, 5 second NBA teams, 3 thirds. So he's made 4-9, plus 3, 12. All NBA selections, been a part of the 50-40-90 club, won the 3-point shooting contest back there in 2006. Is also part of the top 75 player list. And he has a championship. If you look at Hakeem, he won 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, defensive player of the year, 12-time All-Star, 6-time All-First NBA team, 3 second, 3 thirds, 39, 12 as well. But he has 1 regular season MVP, 2 defensive player of the year awards back to back, been on 5 All-First defensive teams, 4 second. Hakeem Olajuwon and led the league in rebounding 2 times and led the league in blocks 3 times in his NBA career. And Hakeem Olajuwon is widely regarded as, if not the greatest defensive player behind Bill Russell, one of the greatest defensive centers in the history of basketball. That's number 1. Number 2, you can literally put Hakeem Olajuwon on any top 5 starting 5 and no one would argue with you. Literally no one. If you had a starting 5, a top 5, you picked guys. If you put Hakeem over Shaq, most people wouldn't argue. Shaq, yeah, Hakeem had actually a lot of success against Shaq in the playoffs. If you pick Hakeem over Wilt, some won't complain with you. If you put Hakeem over Kareem, some won't complain with you. And as a matter of fact, I think when Michael Jordan talked about his starting five of all time, he picked Hakeem Olajuwon. Jordan picked Hakeem Olajuwon. So I just want to believe that he forgot him. I don't want to believe that he purposefully left Hakeem off the list as the greatest international player of all time. So the question to you is a few. Number 1, do you think that LeBron is wrong for saying that Dirk is the greatest international player of all time? Number 1. Number 2, do you feel that Hakeem doesn't get enough respect, as an NBA great? And number 3, who do you think is the greatest international player? I think it makes it easier when these guys have won championships, but this is just me. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.